Hello and welcome to taking your first 360-degree video. If you've not watched our first taking a still shot video, I would reference that first. But what we're going to be doing today is hitting our capture button and making sure we're on capture mode for 360. Under 360, today I'm using the 3D Photo Bench 280 to create my 360-degree animation. And on our right hand side we have all our camera settings. Just like in still shots, we have our turntable controls as well as our lighting. Specific studio you can see is the Photo Bench 280, but below that we have our animation settings. Under our animation settings we get to choose the spin range, and today we will be doing a 360, and we get to choose the number of images we want to capture. Under this, capture as little as one image or as many as 1,024. And for industry standards, they range from about 36 images to 72 frames. Today we'll be creating 36 images. So after selecting 36 images, we can manipulate the amount of light from each area inside the studio depending on how bright you want each of the locations. What I like to do is circle my white space around the product, making sure we are close to a 255, 255, 255 white space. Now we don't want to overexpose, so around 240 is generally a good mark point. So I'm right kind of in between those two. We want to focus to make sure our product is in focus. We have our crop marker, which is located around our product. We can rotate our frame if we're shooting a taller product, and we can even do a test shot. Now up at our top menu here, we have our turntable controls, and these are going to allow us to pre-rotate our object to make sure it never leaves our crop marker space. So if I were to hit the play here, the object will spin around in a full 360, and we'll wait until that completes. So once that finishes, it shows that my shoe stayed within our crop marker, and we simply just hit snap. So from here, the automation is going to kick in. The studio is going to turn for 36 images, starting and stopping at each point. This process will automatically import your images onto your computer, and there's several options that we can do once these images are created. So we're going to jump into our edit, and edit is going to allow me to batch process these images. So by moving my cursor around our white space, we can see our red, green, blue scale is around 249. And my favorite tool in our software is our levels tool. By using this levels tool, we can shift this color palette a couple pixels. That way we're not altering the image too much. And we want to go to that lowest value of white space as I moved my cursor, which was around 244. With 244, now if I move my cursor over our white space, we have 100% 255, 255, 255 white space. We can also deal with contrast on our image by sliding our center bar over to the right to get darker or to the left to get brighter. You don't want to stray too far away, as you will be manipulating too many pixels for your image. You can use the preview tool to see your amount of changes. So on and off. Once you're happy with those results, we're going to hit the apply all. So those changes that we did make will change all 36 frames that were captured. Once you've completed those saves, we're going to hit our save and close icon, and it brings us back to our last screen. If we wanted to add any hotspots or thumbnails to our animation, then we would go through these steps. For our basic HTML, we will hit next, and now we'll be able to save these images in several different formats all at once. We have JPEGs, PNGs, TIFFs, Targa, HTML, WebP HTML, as well as MOV and MP4. By adding new save types, you can select Add a new save type if you need any additional saves. We'll be working with just two formats today, just our original JPEG, so I'm going to go ahead and remove some of these profiles. But what you'll see up at the top is our file naming structure. So you can categorize this by SKU, by product, and I'm just going to name it shoe. Below this, we have our original JPEG saving to our pictures location, as well as an HTML5. In our suffix name, I like to place a description of the object, such as the original. And for our HTML, I like to add 360 since we're shooting a full 360 of the product. Under the HTML profile, it is completely customizable. You'll see our HTML profile here. We have our width set to 600. I suggest checking out your website and see what your iframe size is for each of your images to find this exact height or width. Below this is our image quality. You can go to maximum, recommended, high, medium, or low. Currently set to high. The profile for the HTML can also be edited, and by selecting this, we get to choose our animation settings. Whether we want the object to spin once, if we want it to spin backwards, autoplay, or just stay stationary. I personally like the spin once function as it will complete a full rotation and then come to a nice stop. Direction, you can either spin in clockwise or counterclockwise. And here we get to shift the speed in which the animation plays. For standard speeds are dependent on your frame rate of how many frames you have captured. For 36, somewhere around 0.2 to 0.18 is a great speed for rotating. Following down with the interactive settings, we have our click and drag behaviors, which access you would like to spin the animation with click and drag or gesture controls, and turning on inertia. With our magnifying glass, we can position a type of magnifier so you can see closer into detail of the product. There's quite a few different types of magnifiers, whether you're looking for an enlargement, a zoom, or that initial magnifying glass. Today I'm going to select magnifying glass, and I get to select how much of a magnifier we want to put on our image. Keep in mind this magnifier size has to be under your maximum size animation. So for instance, we are at a 700 pixel wide animation and our main image size needs to be at least 2100 pixels wide in order to get a 3x magnification. If we were to use a 2x, we would need at least 1400 pixels. For initial view, you can change the initial camera capture or the starting position of the animation. For animation loading styles, you can have to play while loading or load them all and play. Display buttons, we can have different types of buttons display at the base of the animation. For magnifier, we can have separate buttons, toggles, or no button at all. For play and pause, we have those same options. Full screen, rotate and pan for all different types of buttons. For social media, you can have these be shareable to different media types, and you can toggle them on and off, depending if you'd like for them to show. Button styles allow you to add backplates, circles, or lines for your position of animations. For alignment, you can position them in the center, left, or right. For button behaviors, you can have it auto hide when your cursor is no longer over the animation, as well as add control hints. For image format, if shooting in a completely background removed animation, you can actually switch from JPEG to PNG. This is not recommended for web use as PNG files are much larger and will take longer to load for the end user. If you are using a transparent background, you can also change the color of that transparent background to a selected color. Once you are happy with your profile, we're going to hit save. We can now close this window, and now you'll see our HTML profile is being applied to this animation. So once you are happy, go ahead and hit OK, and we're going to hit save. Once the animation is complete, in the upper right hand corner we have a preview option as well as the folder in which we had set the animation to save. So with our preview, we can hit our little world icon and you'll see it will do a quick spin of the product and come to a complete stop. Now with clicking and dragging, I can rotate this product to the set degree I wish to look at. Our buttons below allow me to zoom in. I can use my mouse wheel to make that larger or smaller. I can also double click to remove the magnification. The play button is going to rotate our product around, either clockwise or counterclockwise. We also have full screen buttons and the share icon that allows me to share on different platforms I'm logged into on the system. Once completed, we can hit exit and finish, and it will bring us back to our latest animation. And we're done. Please stay tuned for more videos for Ortery Capture.